What is going on, guys? JNC here with the JNC Rewind number 14.
Yeah, holy crap, 14 already?
Yeah. Yes. And for this week's show, we're going to be doing No Way Out of 2001. In the previous week's shows, of course, we did No Way Out 2000, and we did No Way Out 2007.
In a span of 3 days.
Yeah, so we were able to put all that together in one little, the show obviously shows are Sundays and Mondays, but yeah, we took like one weekend and we found a way to, in the span of 3 days, able to put that together, all together in 1 week. And of course, No Way Out 2007 was a bonus show, bonus content, so glad we were able to get that done as well.
All right.
But, yeah, so WWF No Way Out 2001. This has marked the second pay-per-view of the year for the WWF at the time. Of course, in the previous month, we'd have the Royal Rumble event, a show which we indeed covered. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already.
Cheap plug number 1.
Yep. There'll be more to come. Don't worry.
Trying to get our recognition here, people.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Oh yeah. Here we go. We are also on the road to WrestleMania, as we've been in the previous Rumbles and the two previous No Way Outs that we covered. Several different feuds and angles continuing to take shape here. Of course, the Rock and Kurt Angle will go one-on-one in the main event for the world title. They both have been gunning for the WWF title for many, many months, whether it be triple threats, Armageddon, Hell in a Cells, or even some singles matches. It all added up and culminated to this.
Didn't Angle have like a 5-month reign at this point?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow.
Another big program during this time period, probably in some ways actually the biggest, featured Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, in case you may have forgotten, as I just mentioned, how everything would come full circle for the Kurt Angle and Rock feud and match. This feud, on the other hand, dates all the way back to the summer of 1999. Yes, both Triple H and Austin would main event that year's SummerSlam in a triple threat match which also featured Mankind. But then later, the two would face off at that year's No Mercy in a match which saw Triple H as the victor following an accidental sledgehammer shot from The Rock to Austin. Then at the 1999 Survivor Series, it was originally scheduled to be a triple threat main event between Austin, Rock, Triple H for the world title.
Wow.
But that night, they'd run the angle where Austin had been run down by a vehicle outside the building, taking him out of the match. Of course, that was done to write him off of TV in order for him to undergo neck surgery, which sidelined him for 9 months. At the Unforgiven of 2000, Stone Cold Steve Austin would make his return to the World Wrestling Federation and would also try to find out who was behind the incident with the car and had run him down at the previous year's Survivor Series. At first, the man who would take responsibility for the vehicular assault would be none other than Rikishi.
I did it for The Rock.
Who said he did it for The Rock, which would lead to a brief Austin-Rikishi feud, but of course Triple H would later reveal that he was the one who did it after he smashed his sledgehammer over Austin's head. At the 2000 Survivor Series, already a year in the making here, Triple H was planning on running down Austin once again, much like he did the previous year at the same event. But instead, Austin would use a forklift to lift up Triple H's car with him inside of it and dropped it, quote unquote, and dropped it 20 feet to the ground. Then on the January 8th, 2001 edition of Monday Night Raw, Stone Cold would challenge Kurt Angle for the WWF title, but the match would end up being ruled a no contest due to Triple H's interference. But then Austin, at the 2001 Royal Rumble pay-per-view, would get his revenge by costing Triple H his championship match at the show. Stone Cold would also go on later that evening to win the Royal Rumble match. So on this night, we'd see Austin and Triple H face each other in what became later known as a 3 Stages of Hell, but at this point, a 2 out of 3 falls matchup. First fall would be a regular singles match, the second being a street fight, and the third, if needed, being a steel cage match. So, of course, this is No Way Out 2001, as we've said. This is done by the World Wrestling Federation, obviously, WWF at the time, now obviously known as WWE. On February 25th of 2001 at the Thomas & Mack Center from Las Vegas, Nevada. 15,223 was the attendance figure for the evening. 590,000 buys for the pay-per-view, and Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler were your commentators for the evening.
As usual.
Yes. At this time, shortly after, Heyman would come in the picture, and he'd start calling the shows and stuff. But this buy rate's actually up from the previous year's buy rate of 480,000, so they're up 110,000 for this pay-per-view and buys.
Man, you know what? Now that I think about February 25th, isn't that kind of late for a February pay-per-view, don't you think?
Yeah, because Maniac 7, I'd have to look up at some point I'm going to look up the date there.
Super Showdown does not count.
Well, yeah. But that show's also going to be in March, so that's here. Okay, so, all right, I got the date right here. So it was April 1st of 2001 they did it. Okay, that makes sense. So they could get away with a later one. Yeah. Because, see, I was under the impression that it may have been a March show still.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, that makes sense. But, yeah, you are kind of right. That it does seem kind of late in a way. So
for the pay-per-view before Mania. Normally, like, mid-February.
Yeah, usually. So we'd have the opening video package starting out the show, which primarily featured the two main matchups, of course, being Austin, Triple H, and Rock and Angle. And to start out with the show, we'd have the WWF Hardcore Championship on the line. We'd have Raven defend against the Big Show. Very, very bizarre match, to say the very least.
Cluster. Yeah, you know the rest.
Yeah. There would be numerous run-ins here. The first being this masked woman that I guess Raven had. Yeah. Next would be next would be Crash Holly, who would be dressed as a popcorn vendor.
Yes.
Followed by Steve Blackman and Hardcore Holly, also getting in this. Then Billy Gunn would enter the match, I guess, and would hit a famouser on Raven. And would get a pin to briefly win the Hardcore title. Then Raven shortly after would pin Gunn to win it back. Then Big Show would hit a chokeslam and then win the title. And he'd fight off some others in the process in order to hold on to the belt. Yeah, very strange.
Yeah, but just like now, 24/7 rules. But
yeah, 24/7 rules were in effect. But this title was far more entertaining than the 24/7 title.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, this happened to be like terrible because it was just like a whole bunch of like mess and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them may have been, I don't know, for some people this may have been a little funny, but I mean, it may have been funny, but it may not have been probably funny in the right ways. But Big Show, I guess, hardcore champion, new champ. I guess this went on for 4 minutes and 20 seconds somehow.
420.
We both agreed not to give this a rating. Don't really know how to rate this anyway. So.
Yeah, that's the reason why we didn't. It's not because we didn't want to. It's just because we didn't know how.
Yeah, because we try not to dodge this. We try not to dodge this stuff, but it got to the stage where it's like, I don't even know what to. I don't even know how you could rate it, because like you have like people coming in like a match and like they're just pinning each other, not even in the match. It's like, how do you rate that, honestly?
Yeah. So I guess the match was still going on, even though like the title changed hands like 3 times in that sequence.
Yeah, they played like Billy Gunn's music in between. They may have played Raven's music probably after he got the.
Yeah, he did. They actually, I think they did.
Yeah, so I know they played Billy Gunn's music. After this, Kurt Angle would arrive at the building, and Kevin Kelly would try to get a word with him. He wouldn't say much. He'd say he's feeling fine. He'd also call The Rock a loser.
Yeah, what a loser.
Yeah, biggest actor in the world right now.
Yeah.
William Garcia would then interview both Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. They pretty much say they don't mind being on opposite sides, and that it poses a threat to their opponents, or their other opponents in this match, in the next match, which would be a fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship. We'd have Chris Jericho defending against X-Pac, Eddie Guerrero, and Chris Benoit. So
yeah, sign me up.
Oh yeah, this is it's really good. It's really good not triple threat, fatal 4-way rather. Yes, this is really good. Actually surprised the X-Pac even like featured in this way at this point. I actually didn't realize he was like being featured like this in 2001. I get it's early, but I never really thought of it that way.
How much would about that actually was his last like pay-per-view appearance, or like his last like one of his last appearances? Because I don't remember.
I don't know, because he was in 2002 with the NWO.
Oh yeah, well, they came back.
For a while, yeah. Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
that I could think of. Of course, we'll find out later on as
Yeah.
we cover more shows. But so Eddie and Chris, that is Benoit, Chris Benoit, because there's two Chris's in this.
Yes.
Of course, they both entered the promotion as part of the Radicals, being at this point they're still a formidable team, using this to their advantage early on.
Actually, now that I think about it, wasn't it February? No, wasn't it the No Way Out previously?
Yeah, it was the February the previous year at No Way Out that they had their first match. Of course, well, Eddie wasn't in the match, but he was with them at the time. So, yeah, so I guess they're the only two really at this point who are like still together, and
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
of course Benoit and Jericho.
Going off that crazy ladder match, like that ladder match is really good.
Super underrated.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who do know about it, but I mean, whenever I hear people talk about greatest ladder matches, I mean, well, that could be because it involves Benoit and everything, so that could probably be part of it.
Yes, but
even for a Benoit match, I don't even hear like people talk about that nearly as much. Like when they talk about like his better matches and stuff.
mm-hmm.
I never hear that get brought up. I always hear like a triple threat of Mania, or I always hear him talk about like.
Oh, that's probably because that's when he won his world title. That's why that's gonna be the first thing that comes in anyone's mind.
Oh yeah.
Chris Benoit fan or not.
Oh yeah, so yeah, there's that, but like he's had a ton of famous matches, regardless. But,
Yes, he has.
So getting back to the match, of course, early on, Benoit and Guerrero would work together, causing X-Pac and Jericho actually to align temporarily. Notable spot of this, for me, I'd probably say is when Jericho would apply the walls of Jericho to each of the three participants in the match, one after another. Crowd really enjoyed that. For the finish, a bit of an uneventful one. Jericho would roll up X-Pac for the three and retain the Intercontinental title, but I guess you could say in terms of psychology here, it was kind of a smart move on his part.
Yeah, I mean everyone was down. Man had his back turned. We might as well.
Yeah, so I get that. I mean, it wasn't like one of the flashiest finishes ever, but
I mean, hey, you get what we get. Match it didn't ruin the match by any means.
No, it was a really good four-way here. Chris Jericho would retain 12 minutes, 17 seconds was the recorded time. Would retain the IC title. 3.5 for you, star ratings. 3 3/4 for me. Really, really, really enjoyable. Both liked it.
Yes.
Next, we'd have backstage Vince McMahon and William Regal discuss the upcoming matchup between Trish Stratus and Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. Vince would say that this match is very important to him because it's between his daughter and his Stephanie and his very good friend Trish. He'd suggest to Regal that he do the right thing, and after Vince left the room after telling him that, Regal would make it quite clear that he did not know what that meant.
That was actually kind of funny.
Then they cut to WWF New York with Busta Rhymes, who was there in Times Square, and also Test happened to be there.
Test.
And I guess he'd give his opinion on this match, or whatever. Then we'd have a match here between Trish Stratus and Stephanie McMahon. Safe to say that this shocked both of us here, in a good way, of course. Of course, I saw this match a while back. It's just been many years since I've seen it. But when I say, of course, I didn't really think of I didn't think of matches the way then as I do now.
Right.
But on paper, maybe even more so at this point in time, the bar for this match had to be so low, such little expectations. But as it turned out, it'd be way better than probably any best case scenario you could have imagined.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, if you don't believe us, I would actually go look it up.
Yeah, this is actually surprising. The feud, of course, is between the two over how Stephanie disapproved of Trish's relationship, or I guess you could say rather affair, with her father, Vince.
But didn't they work didn't they work together to... Didn't Stephanie McMahon and Vince McMahon,
The drug,
Linda?
do the thing where they'd put Linda in that state or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. But I guess she just didn't approve of this. The two couldn't stand one another, so we'd have this match. They begin not really by wrestling, but by simply fighting, which, I mean, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
uh,